Previously on the Best of the Best.
What the heck are you doing, Ryan? He's looking for dates on his dating app. Are you fucking serious right now? In the middle of all this? Ew, that's a lot of soldiers.
We're moving in.
Is that one of your swipe rights from your dating app, you sick fuck?
As the campaign continues, you will now hear the accounts and decisions of the players within the game. Ryan's gaze fell upon the message on his phone screen, his features a tableau of confusion and shock. Thomas Jones compromised, he muttered to himself, his mind racing with 1,000 questions. What did HQ mean by this cryptic message? Was there more information forthcoming, or was this all they were going to provide? A sea of thoughts swirled within Ryan's head, each wave carrying a fresh bout of uncertainty. But before he could dwell further on the enigma of the message he just received on his phone, the voices of Russian soldiers over the comms pulled him back to the immediate situation. He snapped out of his thoughts, his senses alert and focused as he listened intently. As he strained to hear, his eyes scanned the market square for the source of the interrogation. There, his heart sank as he spotted Peter, halted in his tracks halfway between the vehicle and the rest of the team. A pair of drunken Russian officers seemed to be accosting him, their inebriated manner masking the potentially perilous situation at hand. Ryan's pulse quickened as he grappled with the information from HQ and the unfolding scene before him. The mission had taken yet another unexpected turn, and the operatives were once again faced with a precarious situation that demanded their immediate attention and decisive action. Ryan, ready and vigilant, peered through the scope of his sniper rifle, the Russian officer closest to Peter squarely in his crosshairs. His finger hovered lightly over the trigger, awaiting the word from Jake.
I've got him in my sight, ready to take them out. Just give me the word.
Ryan said with anticipation.
Copy, stand by.
Jake acknowledged, but just as the tension reached its peak, James interjected.
Hold up. Hey, DM, can we take a pause in this campaign real quick?
Josh, who played James, turned to the dungeon master with a thoughtful question, his keen perception picking up on a subtle clue from his character's dossier. If my character is wanted in Russia, does that mean he's been there and possibly knows some Russian? He inquired. A sly grin curved the dungeon master's lips, impressed by Josh's astute observation. Yup, he replied, giving a nod of approval. The room erupted in excitement as the players revelled in their newfound revelation. However, the dungeon master added a twist to the tale. But, he cautioned, you're going to have to roll the dice for this one. With meticulous calculation, they factored in skill points, bonuses, and modifiers. Josh, understanding the odds, picked up the die, his character's linguistic fate hanging in the balance. With a roll that seemed almost guided by fate itself, the die landed on the exact number Josh needed. The room erupted in cheers, and for some inexplicable reason, the players collectively felt the need to jestingly tell the dungeon master to fuck off. Laughter filled the room as the dungeon master chuckled, appreciating the playful camaraderie of the group. With the question of linguistic proficiency settled, the dungeon master looked around and asked, "Are we ready to resume the campaign?" The players, spirits high, signaled their readiness to dive back into the campaign. Time will resume now, said the DM as he hit start on the timer. Jake laid out the plan with a tone of determination. James, you and I are going to act drunk, he explained. We'll stumble over to Peter, throw our arms around him in a drunken stupor, and lead him away from those officers. James, you'll say some gibberish in Russian to make them think we're just a couple of drunk-ass fishermen, and we'll walk out of there scot-free. With unwavering focus, Jake continued, Ryan, if this plan goes sideways, you're going to take them out. But if all goes according to plan, we'll walk with Peter to that road heading east, and we'll rendezvous with you there just outside of the village. Stick to the shadows, stay low and stay vigilant, Ryan. We can't afford another hiccup, we're running out of time. The whole team acknowledged their agreement over comms, affirming their commitment to Jake's plan. Jake and James steeled themselves, with James muttering a few Russian phrases under his breath, ensuring they were prepared to execute their roles as convincing drunk fishermen. As they moved forward, the tension hung thick in the air. The success of their mission resting on the delicate balance of deception and precision, and the hope that their plan would carry them past the drunken officers and closer to their objective. With their arms wrapped around each other, Jake and James began to hum a tune in a drunken manner, their steps unsteady as they staggered toward Peter. From his vantage point, Peter watched their approach, noting their convincing portrayal of inebriated fishermen. As they drew nearer, Jake executed a clever move. He purposefully bumped into one of the officers, creating a distraction and fixing their attention squarely onto him and James, diverting it away from Peter. Through the scope of his sniper rifle, Ryan monitored the unfolding spectacle, ready to intervene if the need arose. The success of their plan depended on their ability to maintain the officers' focus while executing their escape with Peter, and every move was critical for this plan to succeed.
Shit, this better work,
muttered Ryan. One of the officers, seemingly irritated by James and Jake's apparent drunken antics, shouted out in Russian, "Watch it!" The situation teetered on the edge of exposure. However, James, with a successful roll of the dice, brilliantly replied to the officers in a convincingly inebriated manner, "Hey, you watch it! We're walking here!" He swayed back and forth as though barely able to maintain his balance, only to suddenly regain focus when he spotted Peter. "Hey, there you are! We've been looking all over town for you," James exclaimed, a note of intoxicated enthusiasm in his voice. Jake, seizing a quick opportunity, made a request to the dungeon master and then rolled the dice, the outcome crucial to their plan. With deft skill, he subtly stuck his finger down his throat, successfully inducing a convincing bout of vomiting right in front of the officers. "Who?" the officers exclaimed in disgust, clearly repulsed by the spectacle. "Bunch of drunk fishermen," one of them muttered. "Get your friend and get the hell out of here before we have you both shot and thrown in the bay," the other officer warned, his tone laced with authority. With their plan hanging by a thread, Jake, James and Peter stumbled away from the officers, their act still in full swing. They moved purposefully toward the road leading east, putting distance between themselves and the potentially dangerous situation. Ryan, ever vigilant, continued to watch through his scope until they disappeared just outside of the town's boundaries. Satisfied that they were safe for the moment, he picked up his rifle and set out to meet them, ensuring their rendezvous went as smoothly as possible. As Ryan approached the designated rendezvous point just outside of the town, he heard a distinct whistle emanating from behind some brush. It was the signal that he had been eagerly awaiting. He was finally reunited with the rest of the team, their faces reflecting a mixture of relief and anticipation. Jake, with a sigh of relief, initiated the discussion of the next phase of their plan. He explained that the truck they were after would have to make its way east on the road leading to the compound. They would be able to track the truck's movement thanks to Peter's cleverly placed tracking device. This would provide them with the critical timing needed to position themselves in preparation for their next move. However, before Jake could delve into the details of the plan, Ryan interjected with a somber tone. "I'm sorry, but I've got something to say," he began, his words causing the team to fall silent as they listened intently. Ryan continued, his voice laced with concern. "I received a message from HQ. They're telling us to scrub the mission. Thomas Jones is compromised." The weight of this revelation hung in the air, and the team sat in a heavy silence, grappling with the implications of Ryan's news. Doubt and uncertainty crept into their minds as they contemplated the possibility of abandoning the mission and the challenges that lay ahead.
God, I need a cigarette.
James stated as he reached into his pocket for the old fisherman's pack of smokes. Jake sighed as he absorbed the message on Ryan's phone. His determination remained unwavering. Regardless, he asserted, we're going to need that truck. We'll take it one step at a time. Then we circle back to this topic and decide whether or not we need to pay Thomas Jones a little visit. To be continued.
As we close this chapter with the Curious Scriptorium, don't forget to like and subscribe for more intriguing tales. Thanks for joining us, and until we meet again, stay curious.